Hey guys, have you imagined a company working in a lean way, simple, innovative, with teams working with high levels of productivity and happiness, promoting innovation, continuous improvement? You might be wondering, I've had the feeling that it's so hard to do that, to foster this environment of collaboration, operational excellence. How can I foster that? My name is Ferrari. I'm the Lean Digital Transformation Director at Deloitte. I've worked with companies of intensive capital, constructions, sanitation. I'm a business agility specialist. I've been working in this market for 12 years now, and I'll talk to Bruna about this journey of transformation.
Hello, guys. Thank you, Rafael. I'm Bruna Mafra, Executive Manager at Operational Excellence at Vale. I implemented VPS, our management model. I've been working at Vale for 15 years. We've gone through different changes, and I've worked in Vale, in Brazil, outside Brazil, and we learned a lot in this journey. Thank you, Rafael.
Yeah, Bruna, when we were invited to talk about the journey of excellence transformation, Deloitte ran a study in 2020 where they researched 270 companies in infrastructure, and they asked what was their level of investment, how did people deal with their strategies of transformation, and we noticed that 75% of the companies in this segment don't have a defined strategy. They don't have that a clear route of how they envision their future, and more than that, we noticed that only 15% of these companies make an investment of over 1% in operational excellence, and we see that as one of the pains in the segment. They don't have a clear strategy, they don't have adequate, don't make adequate investment. And I would like to hear from your experience in a big company like Valley. How was that transformation for you guys?
Nice. The operational excellence journey at Vale was long. It started in 2005, 6, but it became more robust and stronger after 2019 because of the Brumadinho accident. Ever since that, with research and development and innovation, it became critical to the company because operation is critical because of the management practices to our business model and also to our strategy in the company. So this year, in 2019 to 2020, both the VPS, the management model, they became leveraged to the business and they became very important to the journey. And they were part of the discussions and the lessons learned to the company. It's a long journey, but we have intensive and recent transformation.
You brought this issue of the strategy, and this is something that links with what I said. I observed in clients several ways to start a transformation. You can start small. You can start from small groups. I saw a client that started with small groups. They had a way to do it, and they created a movement that became huge in the company. That was a big company in Brazil, and that's the opposite. That the top bottom, the leaders foster that. You brought the vision of Vale that in 2019 you got traction. What was the biggest change that fostered that? What do you say would accelerate the process?
We really understood that the areas that were more experienced and mature in implementing these practices had results, especially safety results that are much better than those departments that didn't have it. And so we asked, why don't we apply it to everybody? Why is not everybody on board with that? So it's really a strategic approach, but it is something that just became strategic because there were results in the local level, in a localized level.
What I see a lot is that you need to have some small victories happening so you can make your transformation happen. What I understand from what you say is that this operational excellence was not mandatory for the whole organization. These areas where you had this excellence being, let's say, pushed, they did have better results, especially in safety, which is key in your company. And you say, why didn't I expand that across the company?
Yeah, exactly. if we realized that if that was implemented in other departments, we would be at better conditions, we would be more competitive. So always putting people at the center of the decision, that's key. Listening to people, these areas in terms of engagement and solutions, they work at a different culture level. And it's impossible for us at Vale not to think about transformation and operational excellence and the changes we're having.
Very interesting. When we talk about transformation, this is something scary, but actually, what we're changing is management strategies, processes, and things we've been working together there. But what we are actually changing is the culture, the way to for you to do things. There is a guy called at Deloitte called Larry Keeley that says that if you want to make innovation happen, make it mandatory. Innovation, operational excellence, and innovation encompasses operational excellence. You're coming to H1, to the core of the business. It is innovation in its essence. It doesn't fail because of lack of creativity, but it does because of lack of discipline. You imagine that Facebook model, people working in the garage, but this is not the model that we adopt. It's about discipline, and this is what makes the company innovative. And you mentioned the innovation, and we've been working together in that. How did you see the connection between operational excellence and continuous improvement with innovation happening? How do you see that connection and digital
Yeah,
transformation?
there are many lessons learned. These things started maybe competing, and that's something we learned. They have to be integrated, and innovation as an enabler, as a leverage for transformation, for operational excellence. So I think one of the first lessons we learned was this one, to put these two things very connected, and so that they wouldn't be different issues. And the other key point was stop thinking traditionally. This was a challenge and something we learned. Stop thinking that you are just going to be there thinking about a project or planning it for a long time until you deliver it. And we have to think fast. But it needs to be prepared by the company. Otherwise, companies that are used to receiving an idea that will be tried when it's really ready and to change to an idea that was faster, but it's not so ready. So it was a shift. So, and that we should continue to invest in a project if it makes sense. So leaving this optimal view was a lesson learned without giving up of, make a mistake fast. So if the idea is not good enough after a while, you have to make a mistake fast and move on to the next. There are many things we learned, and this gives agility to operational excellence, this shift in mindset.
You raised an interesting point. You were talking about the initial competition. When we talk about agile in an organization, we've talked about it recently. Many companies have many projects and want to do many things, and there's a limit of processes of things being executed, and this is one of the evils in an organization. You want to produce a lot of things and you don't deliver anything, and when you strive for operational excellence and innovation, and you if you can't make tangible these things to the people on the ends, people in management, that everything is connected and that you choose ways to be more efficient in your organization, you end up creating an environment in your organization where people get lost. But wait, where do I go? One teaching we get from the organizations is that you have to have a discourse that innovation is in your routine, and that innovation makes you continuously improve. There's an author, Art Smalley, that has a concept of the four types of problem. In lean, innovation is one way for you to solve problems with a different mindset for your organization to be more lean and more efficient. In our journey, what was the thing you saw as a big challenge? What was the biggest challenge you deal with in your daily life for this journey to happen?
I think connecting with the problem, it is really to understand transformation, innovation, digital operational excellence as a means to an end. So the problem has to be in the center. You need to know the problem. And I think that's a challenge. Sometimes people get, they just are in love with the solution and the means, and we get lost. So the problem has to be in the center. You must understand the four types of problems we have, how to deal with them, but the problem is what connects. There is no innovation or operational excellence because it's nice. I have that because it helps me get the results. It helps me be more efficient, productive, and safer. So we must focus on the inefficiencies, the opportunities that we have in the environment, and drive everything that we have in the organization to solve problems. So they are in the background, they are means really. That's a lesson learned.
It is interesting to hear that when we start this journey with some companies, lean and agile, digital, the first image that comes to people's minds is that person with post-its. They think people will dress up with post-its all around. It's not like that. These types of tools and processes, they help you foster innovation, but they're a means. We want to have tangible results. We want to get relevant. You want people to feel safer and reduce accidents. And these means foster your results. But if you fall in love for the means will be just for the sake of being means.
And you kill the means, right? You kill the means. You invert the relationship, and then you go into an avenue that is not healthy. And people will start to see that and say, why? What for? And then we go back to purpose. The purpose has to be clear. And if the results don't start to show, then you start question it. So, and less is more. I think you talked about that. Not, don't put too much into it. Do things with an agile mentality, step by step, because the too much can be dangerous.
And what did we say here? The importance of creating a connection between innovation, operational excellence, and connection is not has nothing to do with hierarchy. At Valley, for example, you have different structures of operational excellence, but you have a strong connection to foster that. And you mentioned being places where you saw small victories, results to show the organization, which made sense to the organization, and also the purpose that the means are not more important than the results. And to wrap this up for people in our audience, people that are in this journey of operational excellence, what would be the greatest tip for these people?
That is a good question. Well, first of all, I think the first thing is that our journey here at Vale has just started. We're far from having all the learns from this journey. It is a huge learning journey. We learn more from our mistakes than from the things we do right. So I think having this learning mindset, so focus all the time in learning together so that it accelerates the generation of results. It's a learning journey that goes faster. I think that's the tip I give. Don't think that when you're making mistakes, you are getting late, because the mistakes will accelerate a delivery for the future. So it seems simple or obvious, but in the practice, put that into practice is really complicated. And we continue with our learning. And I hope Club Bean has a lot of success in their
And
journey.
you mentioned something interesting. Mistakes are important. Sounds like
Yeah.
commonplace. Yeah, you need to know how to deal with mistakes. You will fail and will use this opportunity to learn. And I think your journey is very cool, and you have something which is very important, which is present leadership. You bring this message to the organization. I see this very strong in your organization, and it is very
Yeah, that's
important
key. That is
for
key.
things to happen. If you have kids, for example, if I tell my kid not to do something and I do that thing, you see
Yeah.
what he'll do, huh? Well, guys, thank you very much, Bruna, and lots of love to all you guys at Clubbin. I wish you a lot of success, and make sure you contact us. We'll leave our contact details here. Myself or Bruna, feel free to make this connection. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody.